Welcome to lesson 14. My name is Andrew Swaby, and in today's lesson we are going to be looking at the dominant seventh. All right. In the previous lesson we looked at the major seventh. Right. In today's lesson we are going to be looking at the dominant seventh, sometimes known as just the seventh, or the major minor seventh. Why major minor seventh, you may say? Well, it's built on top of a major triad. So we're simply going to add a minor third on top. So that's how it got the name major minor seventh. All right. Another way to look at how this chord is constructed is by looking at the major triad, pop up top, hit the octave, and then just move down one tone. All right. And that should get you to your dominant seventh chord. So if I say, hey, spot and play A flat dominant seventh, you should see A flat major triad, right? Hit that octave and then just move this down a tone, not a semitone, but a tone. All right. Two semitones make one tone. So you would step down twice. So you'd go 1, 2, boom, we're there. All right. If I say, hey, spot and hit B flat dominant seventh, B flat, octave, one tone down, there we go. All right. Now the dominant seventh chord is heard a lot on the 5 chord. So if we're playing a progression, for example, right, hear that? Right, so it creates some kind of dissonance, and it makes it unstable, so you have to resolve it, right? So wants to go somewhere, resolved. All right, so that's how it's used. That's one example of how we can use that dominant seventh. So, all right, so we can use it on the 5 chord. So you're saying, hey man, you just did this and you just showed us the dominant seventh with the minor third on the top. That's how we made the chord. Now you're playing something that looked alienish, right? No, it's not. This is what it is. Because we have 4 notes, right? There are 4 different ways to play the chord. There are 4 different positions. All right. So we have the root, then the first inversion, right? Because I'm taking that root and I'm putting it on the top, right? And then we have the second inversion when I take this and put it on top, all right? And then we have the third inversion and then back to the root. Okay? So the rule of thumb, if there are 4 notes in a chord, there are 4 different positions to play it. All right, aka inversions. There are 3 inversions for that. All right, here we go. All right, so in the spirit of vibing on the beat, if we did we can do that. What I did was I played the root, right? And in my left hand, I'm just playing the outer voicings. So I have C, which is the root, and then I went up to B flat, right? And then, so I'm bringing this down. This is the dominant 7th for my 4 chord, which is F, dominant 7th, right? But I'm playing it in, what's this, second inversion. Remember, root, first, right? And then second. Cool. So I'm playing that F, second inversion, and then I'm coming back to my 1 chord, but it's in third inversion this time. Look, see that? So I started 1, 4, and then back. All right, because for in this case the melody line is now this is known as voice leading, right? When you keep the melody on top and the chord changes that you make, they accompany that melody, where it keeps the melody on top even though the inner voicings change. All right, so we have voice leading. Cool. So what we can do is we can play those chords just to familiarize ourselves with the dominant 7ths, right? We can play that in all the keys. So check this out. If I went to C sharp, right, I spotted the octave, and then I can drop that 1 tone, right? And then I know that my next chord is going to be the 4th, so I'm keeping the melody on top, so I'm going to the 4 and then to the 1. All right, all right, so again to the 4 and then to the 1. All right, if I move that now to D, it's the same thing. All right, then to the 4 and then to the 1. All right, if I move that to E flat, all right, look, in my left just now I did this instead of doing this. That's an option, but because we started by doing that, I'm going to keep it going and then come back to the 1 chord. All right, if I take that to E, so I found the octave and then dropped it one tone to here. All right, the 4th would be A. All right, and then I'm going to take it to the 1. All right, then if I took that to say F, all right, let's take that now to F sharp, to B, and then to the 1. All right, and then let's go to G. All right, so remember this chord earlier when I did that progression and it looked weird at first? So see, we have it again showing up. All right, and now we know that this is G dominant 7th in 3rd inversion. All right, cool. So if we go to A flat or G sharp, and what I want you to do is to play that for the other keys. In the last class I did it for you. In this class I actually want you to do your homework. Right, I'm going to ask you to play that in the other keys. All right. One other thing that I wanted to show you is that to work on your dexterity, right? To work on how quick you can spot the notes, you can use these in arpeggios, right? Like that, right? And you can develop a practice routine with that, all right? Another thing I want to show you is with these chords, these dominant seventh chords, right? They are very versatile. If you look at the chord, you can play a major chord in your right and something that we refer to as a rootless chord, like that. So you will hear this in like gospel music or jazz a lot. All right, so this is still, if you had a bass player and you're playing, right, instead of playing the entire chord like this, right, you could play the rootless version of it. So this is referred to as a tritone, right, because there are 3 tones between the third and the dominant seventh. All right, so if you don't believe me, there are 3 tones. So from here to here would be 1, then from here to here would be 2, from here to here would be 3. All right, see that? That's where it gets its name, the tritone. All right, but it's simply the third and the dominant seventh of the chord. All right. So after finishing going through the rounds with the full chords like that, you can go through the rounds with your tritones. All right. If I went to C sharp, it would be the third and the dominant 7 in my left. And when I go up to the 4 chord using the inversion, I'm simply going to go down a semitone in my left. All right. Let's go to F. The tritone would be the third and the dominant 7. Going down a semitone. All right. All right. So practice those movements because I'm sure you're going to hear them over and over and over again at different points in different songs. So I want you to be able to hit them right away. All right. If you're in A, right, you can find the third and the dominant 7, right, and then all right, hear that? That is it. Now remember, the goal is not to be the best in a day. The goal is to become better every time you play. So hey, if you like that one, check out the next one. And don't forget, hit that subscribe button and let's be better together.